Hello friends, this is Parth Thakkar. In our today's lecture, we are going to cover two topics, which is solid angle and intensity of radiation. In our previous lectures, we have started radiation mode of heat transfer. We have discussed black body radiation, different types of laws like Kirchhoff's law, Planck's law, Wien's displacement law, and Lambert-Cosines law. So let's start with the first slide and understand what is solid angle. Suppose we have one pizza, as you can see from the figure. If we want to quantify the slice of the pizza, there is two ways. Either we have to define this arc length. By defining arc length, we can quantify the slice of the pizza. And another approach, or more simplified approach, is to define this angle, which is made by connecting the end of the slide to the center of this circle of the pizza. We can get one angle, which is plane angle, and the unit of this plane angle is radian. By value of this angle, we can quantify the size of the slice of the pizza. But now consider, if we have a watermelon, this is watermelon, if we want to quantify the size of the slice of this watermelon, then we can do it by considering this area which is shown in figure, and now connecting all the end points to the center of this watermelon. Now there is one angle which is made by this differential area of total watermelon with the center of the watermelon, and this area which is made by this differential angle, it is a solid angle because it forms one cone shape like geometry, one three-dimensional geometry. So this is the 3D angle which is made by the end points of all the differential area, and this angle is known as the solid angle, which is differ from the plane angle. The unit of plane angle is radian, and the unit of this solid angle is a steradian. Okay, so this is the difference between plane angle and solid angle. Now the question is, why we studied solid angle? What is the importance of solid angle in the radiation heat exchange? So whenever, as we have learned in our previous lecture, all bodies whose temperature is about absolute zero emit electromagnetic wave in all directions. Generally, a plane surface emit electromagnetic wave in above hemispherical surface. So it will collect by some another body which is placed above the surface at particular angle. So in a radiation mode of heat transfer, the orientation between the two bodies plays importance role for the amount of electromagnetic wave emitted by this one surface and received by the another surface which is located at particular angle. So that angle affect that particular orientation, which results in intensity of radiation which is received by the second object emitted from the first object. That's why solid angle plays very important role in the radiation heat exchange process. In a spherical coordinates, in our conduction chapter, we have studied three coordinates: Cartesian coordinates, cylindrical coordinates, and spherical coordinates. We know that in spherical coordinates, if we want to locate particular object in a spherical coordinate, we require two angles. One angle is our zenith angle, which is angle which is made by a particular area which is in a spherical shape, which is in a spherical coordinates, and the angle which is made by this differential area with normal axis from the center of the spherical, it is known as the theta, which is our zenith angle. And if we draw a top view projection of this area in our xy plane, suppose this is x-axis and this is y-axis, and top view projection of this area is made on this xy plane, then connecting this projection with center of the axis and this angle which is made with the y-axis is known as the azimuth angle. The distance between this area and the center of this sphere is suppose taken as r. So in a spherical coordinate, if we want to specify location of any object, any area, then we require three space coordinate: theta, which is zenith angle, phi which is azimuth angle, and r which is distance from the center of the sphere. Okay. Now suppose this area is a circular or uneven shape. So connecting all the end point with the center of the axis or center of the sphere, create one solid angle. Here this solid angle which is denoted by d omega. Clear? Now let's understand in deep how the surface area of the sphere is satisfying our equation or our theory. Considering differential surface area, here we have considered this differential surface area on a sphere. Suppose there is one surface whose area is d1, it's continuously emitting electromagnetic wave, continuously emitting radiation in all the direction, because this surface emitting electromagnetic wave in all direction. Okay, from above its hemispherical surface. First we consider the whole sphere, then we will divide it by 2, so it will give equation for the hemisphere. Consider distance of this differential area from the center is small r. Okay, from spherical coordinate we know the area of this differential surface would be r square sine theta d phi. Okay, because if we join the line between the center of the sphere to this differential area and the distance should be r, top view projection of this area in a xy plane, and this angle would be phi, so that this would become d phi. As this is r, this angle is theta, so this is r cos theta, and this side will become r sin theta. As this is r sin theta, this angle is d phi, so this side would become r sin theta d phi, as we have already studied in spherical coordinate. This is r, this is d theta, so this will become r d theta. So r d theta into r sin theta d phi will give us r square sin theta d phi. The multiplication of two sides will give area of this differential surface. Clear? So this is how we find dA2, value of dA2, which is r square sin theta d phi. Okay, so this is a differential area r square sin theta d phi. Done. If you still have doubt how this r square sin theta d phi is found, you can watch previous video of spherical coordinate. You will easily understand how this is calculated, r square sin theta d phi. Now this is a differential area we want for the whole sphere, so we have to integrate it. We have here two things, theta and phi. We know the limit of theta for the spherical. For the sphere, value of theta would be from 0. Suppose at this point theta would be 0. From 0 to this point the theta would be 180. So limitation for the theta, limitation for the zenith angle would be from 0 to pi. For phi, there is limitation of 360 degree. The phi should be in a 360 degree, so that from 0 to 2 pi. Okay, whole circle. So limitation of phi is from 0 to 2 pi. Limitation of theta would be from 0 to 180, so from 0 to pi. Okay, for sphere. So integrating this differential area and giving limit to theta and phi, we will get, this is differentiation of ds. ds means r square sin theta d phi. There is only d phi, so putting upper limit minus lower limit will give us a 2 pi. There is already r square here, so 2 pi r square. Now integration of sin theta d theta, limit is 0 to pi. So integrating and putting upper limit minus lower limit will give us a 4 pi r square. So this is 4 pi r square. Now for r is equal to 1, we know if we put r is equal to 1, if the radius of sphere is 1, it will give us a 4 pi. This 4 pi r square is equation for the area of sphere. For unit radius, this will become 4 pi. For hemisphere, it will be 2 pi. So for solid angle which is associated with sphere is 4 pi steradian, and it is related to hemisphere, which divide by 2, which gives us a 2 pi st radian, which is more relevant because the surface which is emitting electromagnetic wave about its hemispherical surface. So the solid angle for the hemispherical to the center of imitation of electromagnetic wave is 2 pi. Clear? This is all for the information. We just need to know difference between the plane angle and the solid angle. Plane angle is a 2D angle. Solid angle is a 3D angle, which is formed by the connecting end point to the center from which electromagnetic wave is continuously emitting in a hemispherical space above the surface. Clear? Now let's understand the difference. So we can define the solid angle. The differential solid angle d omega, here in the figure, this is our differential area. The solid angle which is formed by this differential area by connecting all the endpoint with the center of the sphere from where electromagnetic wave is emitted. So this is our solid angle which is subtended by this area on sphere of radius r, can be expressed as d omega is equal to ds by r square. Here d omega is a differential solid angle, not a total solid angle of hemisphere. It is a differential solid angle which is made by differential area ds, which is a part of hemisphere. This is a part of hemisphere which is differential surface area, divided by r square, divided by the distance between these two. Okay, we know the value of ds is sine theta d r square sine theta d theta d phi, so that r square will be cancel out, so remaining will be r sine theta d theta d phi. So from this we can give definition of solid angle, which is solid angle is measured by the ratio of spherical surface enclosed by the cone to the square of the radius of the square of the radius of the sphere. Okay, this is how we can get the value of solid angle, which is subtended by any differential area in a hemisphere. Now, by using concept of solid angle, we can find out the equation for the intensity of emitted radiation. Suppose we have two surface here. This is dA1. Consider radiation from elementary area dA1. This is our elementary area dA1 from which radiation is emitted. This radiation is absorbed by another second elementary area, which is dA2, which is a portion of hemispherical surface, which we can see from this figure. The area is r square sine theta d phi, as explained earlier. Now, the projected area of this dA1 on a plane perpendicular, it means this plane, on a plane perpendicular to the line joining dA1 and dA2. This is the line which is joining dA1 and dA2. This is the plane which is perpendicular to them. So the projected area of dA1 on a plane perpendicular to the line joining of dA1 and dA2 is dA1 cos theta. By using Lambert cosine law, we can say that this is dA1 cos theta. Okay. Now, solid angle, as we have explained, can be measured by the ratio of spherical surface enclosed, which is this, divided by the distance between these two, r square. So solid angle, which is subtended by this area, it means subtended by dA2. Solid angle which is generated by this dA2 to the dA1 can be calculated as dA2 is equal to the hemispherical surface area, differential area is dA2 divided by distance is r, so r square. Clear? Now intensity. What is intensity of radiation? It is defined as the rate of energy leaving. Listen carefully. It is rate of energy leaving the surface. So it is from 1 to 2 in a given direction. It means in this direction, particularly at theta direction, per unit solid angle per unit area. So from the definition, intensity is equal to energy leaving from the surface. So from this Q1 to 2, this is differential area, that's why dQ 1 to 2 in a given direction per unit solid angle. This is per unit solid angle. This is dA2 by r square per unit area. So this is our area, dA1 cos theta. The dA1, this is area, but at a theta angle the area would be dA1 cos theta. As we have just learned in a previous slide, it would be dA1 cos theta per unit solid angle, which is dA2 by r square. So here dQ12 is rate of radiation heat transfer from dA1 to dA2. Okay. Now we know that dA2 is r d theta, r sin theta d theta. It means r square sin theta d theta d phi. Putting this value of dA2 in this equation, r square will be cancelled out. So we will get dQ12 is equal to, by cross multiplication, I into dA1 sin theta, this sin theta, this cos theta, this d theta and d phi as it is. Okay, so this is the equation for the dQ12, the differential heat transfer rate from 1 to 2. So to get the value of whole the area of A1 to A2, we have to integrate this with respect to theta and phi and putting upper limit and lower limit. So for theta, because this is a hemisphere, so now the limit for the theta is from this point, from 0 to pi by 2, because this is a hemisphere. So for hemisphere the limit would be 0 to pi by 2. For phi it would be the same, 0 to 2 pi, 360, it can rotate in 360 because this is a hemisphere. Hemisphere can be in a 360. So the value limit for the theta is 0 to pi by 2, 0 to 90, and for limit for the phi would be 0 to 2 pi. Here it is phi, not theta. Here it is phi. Okay. So now integrating this equation, it is only d phi here. So there is 1, putting upper limit minus lower limit, so that 2 pi minus 0 would give us a 2 pi. This is 2, this is sin theta cos theta, 2 sin theta cos theta, it will become sin 2 theta. Integrating sin 2 theta, putting upper limit minus lower limit, we will get pi I dA1. So Q is equal to pi I dA1. Also, we know that the emissive power E of diffuser surface, this is our diffuser surface. So emissive power of diffuse surface can be denoted by E by the differential area, which is dA1. So this is dA1. So we know the value of Q122 is E dA1. Compare this equation with pi I dA1. So E dA1 is equal to pi I dA1. We will get E is equal to pi I. So emissive power, capital E is emissive power of diffuser surface, is equal to pi times intensity of radiation, is equal to pi times intensity of radiation. This is the most important equation. E is equal to pi into I. So in today's lecture we have learned what is difference between the plane angle and solid angle. Plane angle is 2D, solid angle is 3D. The unit of plane angle is radian, unit of solid angle is steradian. Clear? We have derived equation for the intensity of radiation, which is E is equal to pi into I. Emissive power of diffuse surface is pi times intensity of the radiation. I hope you understand today's concept. Thank you so much. That's it for today.